In today's video, we're going over the 3 scaling challenges that agencies face and how to power through them. All right, my name is Matt Ackerson. I'm the founder and CEO of AutoGrow.co, as you may or may not already know, but now you do. And we're talking about scaling an agency and what are some of the top challenges that you actually face. And a lot of these I've successfully, I'm very happy and very proud to say, have faced and have overcome. So I'm speaking from experience when we go through each of these. All right. So scaling agency challenge number 1, because let's just get into the problems. I mean, if you're watching this, you're an agency owner, you used to be, you're thinking about starting an agency, whatever it is. If you're starting one, you want to go into the whole situation with an open mind about and clear open eyes about what it is you're going to be facing. And if you are an existing, which I think many of you probably fall into this bucket, if you're an existing agency owner, you want to know exactly, you probably know already which one is you're going to identify most with. I think probably all of them, but probably one more than the others. But exactly how do you get over that hurdle? All right, so without further ado, agency scaling challenge number 1, is getting qualified and long-term clients to minimize churn rate. Attracting and getting qualified long-term clients to minimize your churn rate, or even just forget the churn rate part. Right? Just because according to WordStream, who did a survey of agency owners, 37.3% of agencies said the single biggest challenge for them was to acquire new clients. Meanwhile, 8.7% said that retaining clients was their biggest challenge. And I think that 8.7%, 37% difference is really just because, most are focused on how do we just get more clients in the first place, because that was the mindset that I was always in. It was always, we didn't have like a formal process around upselling. We didn't really have much of a process at all. I had to just kind of invent and discover these things, and luckily through trial and error and a lot of reading, and a lot of action taking. Well, because honestly, if you don't take action, you're not going to get a result. And most of the people watching this, won't take action, unfortunately. But just me telling you that, maybe you'll fall into the 5, 7, 10% of people watching this that will take action, I hope, and get a positive result. So again, that difference is that many more people would say, many more agency owners would say that retaining clients was the biggest challenge if they actually solved the bottleneck that was one level up from that, which is getting clients in the first place. Agency owners also reported that their main source of acquiring clients was client referrals, so just word of mouth. Promethean research showed that over 70% of the agency marketplace, or industry, if you will, is made up of clients that generate less than their businesses, in other words, generate less than $1.5 million per year. So obviously, mostly SMBs in that category, and startups. So the big solution to this is just understanding that the reason why you probably have this scaling problem is that you probably don't have any sort of an actual sales process, where you are actively looking to qualify each of the leads that are coming into you. And you probably don't have a sales funnel set up either. Now, sales funnels, there's like a lot of hype around them. Some people are very cynical because they're like, oh, I hired a consultant to help me with this or something, or I tried it in the past and it's a bunch of BS, and ClickFunnels, blah blah blah. But even Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, to his credit, because Russell's a hype machine, let's be honest. But at least I think in one webinar he was honest, and he said, listen, the actual stats of ClickFunnels customers who are making money, it's like something like 7%. So 93% of all customers, they don't make any money when they sign up through ClickFunnels. So why is that? why is that the case with sales funnels, and why are people cynical about it? They think they've been burned when in reality, yeah, maybe that was true, but it's really bad expectations and understanding that like this is a process. Building a successful sales funnel is a process. It's one that you really have to be involved with. You um, you can't really completely ever outsource this to someone. I mean, unless you pay them like extremely well, and say like, okay, I want you to take full ownership of this. I want you to, just really be hyper focused on this. Because if you're not engaged with that process, it's going to take longer and you won't get a results probably anytime soon. So you got to be engaged with that process, because ultimately the market and your business's challenges and your clients better than anyone else. And that goes for all businesses, by the way, but especially for agencies, because ultimately that was what meant that we, back when we used to be a traditional web design and web development agency from 2010 to roughly 2015, 16, before we became productized service similar to what we have now. We were just word of mouth. A lot of, especially the first 2-3 years, a lot of networking, a lot of up and down, feast or famine. And it was because we didn't have a real sales funnel and sales process. But once we solved that by, for example, in our case, the solution was to put out a lot of high quality blog content, where we got to the point where we got so much traffic that we never had to search for leads anymore. And you don't necessarily have to do that, because I know that, content is a big investment of time and there's plenty of competition out there. You got to have a sales process. And another great growth hack, especially for agencies, is to niche down and or to productize. And if you want to learn more about that, just Google for auto grow, productized business, and you'll find our article and some video interviews that we've done on that topic too. I also wrote a whole book on the subject called Productize and Relax, where I just literally shared the journey from the first few months of when I started up, because I've launched 3 different productized services for AutoGrow. So I wrote the Productize and Relax book when I was launching the 3rd productized service and scaling it to 6 figures. So you can go check that out if you're interested in that. It's an ebook and an audiobook. Okay. So another final tip on this point of getting qualified leads and like having a sales process is the law of alignment. And this goes back to what I was just saying about like just kind of niching down and kind of getting more focused. So with the law of alignment, which comes from our 11 laws of sales funnel physics framework, it's the framework that we like to use here at AutoGrow and that I've developed to help understand, okay, how do you cause and effect? How do you cause conversions, and or what might be holding back conversions? What's a bottleneck in your existing funnel? So the law of alignment in this case, what we're saying there is that the more aligned your offers are with potential clients' needs, the better qualified leads that you'll attract in the first place. And again, this is why it's good to get more specific and more niche, and even to consider productizing. Again, depends on what your goals are, and if you really want to scale, you really have to productize as an agency, or at least just niche down. That's fine. A lot of successful agencies have scaled that way. Okay, so that being said, let's get into agency scaling challenge number 2, focusing on revenue and not profitability. Revenue for U.S. ad agencies in 2019 increased by only just an itty bitty 1.2% across the board. And this was in 2019. This was before the Rona hit, and the stock market and went like that, and then fear went up, affected a lot of businesses, especially agencies. In total, U.S. ad agencies are expected to generate over $45 billion US dollars in revenue this year in 2020, according to Statistica. So there's a large market out there. Your goal is to grow within that market, but obviously the growth the last year, especially with some of the fear that's in the economy right now, it's a challenge. Okay, it's a challenge, but it's really important to engineer profitability into your model. One just is, I spoke about this in a previous video, but a great entrepreneur and friend of mine, Lawrence Watkins, one thing I learned the first year in business from when something I was discussing with him at the time was that, and just so relevant to agencies, is that you need to engineer your business so that it's almost impossible to lose money. So for example, I mean, it sounds really basic and obvious, but some of you watching this will be like, oh wow, like you're right, that's possible because I have total control over pricing and marketing and packaging and the proposal and how it's structured and all that stuff. So for example, if you are charging on a per project basis, but you hire someone who's hourly, that's just, you're going to be stressed, or it's just going to immediately eat into your profit margins, and incentives are completely misaligned there. It's better to just either charge hourly, which, a lot of clients, not so into the hourly billing these days with good reason, because, incentives should be aligned. But if you're going to charge clients on a per project basis, you should hire someone on a per project basis. So that way, okay, for example, I got a $10,000 project, just as an example, and I'm paying, one of the professionals that I've hired to my team, either maybe a virtual team, maybe you're subcontracting, maybe you're freelancers, maybe a full-time staff. But, you calculate it out either way. And especially with those recurring costs, if you're paying someone a salary, you really need to know these numbers. Because it's not as bad as like an hourly sort of situation, but you have to know the numbers. So if you're paying if your company's getting paid $10,000 and the project is, in terms of staffing costs, going to cost $5,000, right? Well, okay, then theoretically you should make $5,000 in gross profit, maybe not taking into account overhead, for example, like an office space or a co-working space, wherever you work. But the risk is, what if it takes longer? Okay, what if you don't hit your deadlines, right? Then you have to keep paying your staff and obviously to finish it. What if there's scope creep, right? So the more that you can manage that risk and focus not just on revenue, but also on profitability, because you always want to have like a cash cushion, right? Because, especially if you don't have like a very well-defined sales funnel, your sales and cash flow can be like that. So very, very important. Finally, agency scaling challenge number 3, hiring a staff to delegate your client marketing projects to be completed on time. Okay. So as I was just mentioning, I kind of touched on this point already about, timing and, having transparency and a reasonable level of certainty that something will be completed or turnaround time by X day. Because normally what I've found in the past, because I used to just, before we hired a project manager, early on, I was the project manager. The first 3-4 years, I was almost always a project manager, or at least on and off, But what I learned from doing that was that even if there is a delay in terms of time, as long as there's transparency and as long as you're setting expectations and you know what that turnaround time is going to be, and so you're able to constantly show progress, clients have like infinite patience because they want to get it right and they want to help you to get it right. So as long as you're saying, well, listen, we're building out, I don't know, a website for you, and it's going to take a little bit more time because many times it can be the client's fault because, hey, like you wanted to collect, you're waiting for them to give you any feedback in terms of revision. And and also just time boxing that revision time period. I think that's important too, right? Because your time is valuable, and you should put some sort of a cap on that, to again, to control for potential risk, and to make sure that you're focusing on profitability, not just on revenue. Okay. But hiring a staff is, I mean, I was just talking to a potential client. He was in the chat with us earlier today. Hiring a staff, hiring people in general, it's a big headache, and AutoGrow is actually the solution to this. So, um, and it's a big challenge for a lot of digital marketing agencies. According to WordStream, 15% of digital marketing agencies feel that hiring and training new employees is the biggest challenge that they're facing this year. Okay. And this is also a big reason why 94% of digital agencies, 94% have fewer than 50 employees. It's because of the previous scaling challenges, but as well as this one, because it's hard to find good people, and there's also financial risk involved there too, especially if you're putting someone on a salary or whatever the case is, or you're building a remote team. It's kind of like herding cats sometimes. It's like, oh my God, like and the freelancer might disappear on you or something like this. Herding cats. But it's true. So with AutoGrow, like this is really the problem. This is why a lot of agencies love working with us, is because with AutoGrow, we help you to delegate all of your digital marketing tasks and projects without the headaches of hiring. So the benefit is that you don't have to worry about hiring at all. You just tell us like, okay, like for example, this one client that I was talking with today, he was like, all right, I just need you guys I'm going to do all the discovery with the client. I'm just going to pass that along to you. And I just want you guys to help execute, set up and design WordPress websites, write the copy, do the design, maybe some maintenance plugins here and there. And yeah, we can take care of all that and more. The best way to think about AutoGrow is that it's like project management software, but with proven professionals that we've vetted and hired on our end, and we have like a very sophisticated hiring process that we perfected over and over and over, and we're just always improving on it. And so, but you just don't have to deal with any of that because we do. So anyway, it's like project management software with proven pros already inside: developers, designers, strategists, copywriters, and more. Proven pros already inside, ready and waiting to just get the work done for you. And the way that it works is you can just log in, you sign up and log in, you get just a full talent stack of access to all of our pros on staff on your account in one place. And you just type notes. Okay, here's what I want to get done. Here are examples. So you write down the brief basically that you want us to execute on. And whether it's a single task or it's a larger project with multiple tasks, you can submit it to us. You click the button that says make it real, and it gets assigned to the team members on your account. Maybe we'll ask some clarifying questions if we need anything else. But otherwise, you just sit back, relax, and watch the progress bar as it goes from 0 to 100%. We're always keeping you updated in the live chat too, in case you have questions, or if you need to know if you need something tweaked on the existing project, or you want to give feedback, or just us giving you updates in terms of ETAs for turnaround time and completion. So AutoGrow is just great for agencies, and that's why a really big percentage of our clients are agencies. All right, so go check us out if you're interested in that at autogrow.co. We'd love to work with you and to help you to hire, or rather to delegate your digital marketing projects and tasks without the headaches of hiring. But another thing that I want to tell you that's maybe not immediately evident is that the benefit of working with us and having AutoGrow as the solution that it is for the benefit of your agency is that it allows you to grow. It allows you to take on 3 to 10 new clients per month, just because you can get more work off of your plate, and because you don't have that hiring bottleneck. It's just completely removed. So your capacity can go from this to this and beyond. We can scale up with you, right? We can help you to, I don't make any grand hypey claims at all, but we have been helping our agency clients really grow. All right. So check it out, autogrow.co. And if you want to learn the 2 other scaling challenges that are very common for growing an agency or a digital agency even, go check out the full article that goes with this video. If you're watching this on Autogrow, just scroll on down to read those 2 additional challenges. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, the link should be right in the description below this video, right below that little thumbs up button. So please like, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. And leave a comment. I love to read your guys' comments, and I love hearing from you. All right. So final question to you, and this might be a jumping off point for you to leave a comment. Tell me, what scaling challenge do you identify with the most that I went over here, or that's listed as part of the full list in the article? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, keep auto growing and stay focused. I'll talk to you soon.